Okay, let's talk about how you can actually take notes online. So here I am, I'm in a Google Doc that I've already created and I labeled it Hero's Journey Notes for Research. And this is just an example for you. Now I put in my chart, I put 7 boxes here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and a 7th box at the top there so that I can write down all of my headings. So how I plan to set up these notes is my source information. Source information is what would actually go into your works cited page. The note, so whatever it is I'm directly quoting or paraphrasing, and then how I plan to use that note in my essay. And this part is very, very important for you because what good is the note if you don't know how you're going to use it in the essay? Okay, so let's go to my first source, and my first source is actually one that I found from a database. I actually went to Loyola's database because I'm a student at Loyola. Now what's really nice here is that on a lot of the databases they actually will cite sources for you, so you don't even need to use EasyBib. So I can click here on Cite, and then I'm going to choose not APA, I'm actually going to choose MLA because that's how we cite, and then I click Change, and I can copy and paste this information, done with it, and I can put that right here in my source information for my first source. So I'm actually going to, above that, I'm going to write source number 1, and then I'll make a note for myself, source number 2. I'm just going to label all these so I know for myself that I need to have 6 sources minimum, because for this research paper you need to have 6 sources minimum. And so I'm going to do that. Now I'm only showing this to you for a little bit of sources 1 and 2, just so you get an idea as to how to do this. Yours will obviously be more involved because you'll have more time to do it, and you obviously don't want to see me go through an entire research process. You just need to see an example of how to take the notes. Okay, so I have my source information for the first source. Now my note. I'm going to go back to it. Now, just so you know, I read the article before I did this video, so it makes my life a whole lot easier. So one of the bits of information that I did for myself, now here is something that you might want to do. Essay option 3. Number 3. Compare, contrast, one hero's internal and external journeys. That's what I decided to choose as my essay option. So you might want to actually put that at the top of your bibliographic information to remind yourself of what you're actually doing. Okay, so I'm going to go back to my source here. What's nice about using this method is that I have everything here on my computer and I can just copy and paste directly from the source. I don't have to handwrite anything. So this is kind of nice. If you rely on technology and you're pretty tech savvy, this is a good option for you. You might want to choose it. Also, if you want to be able to access your notes from anywhere, whenever you're online, might be a good option for you. You can use Microsoft Word if you want to, but Google Docs I would recommend probably more so, just because you don't have to worry about sending yourself an attachment of Microsoft Word when you're working on it at home, and then you're sending another new attachment to yourself when you're at school. So I would use just Google Docs because it makes your life a lot easier. Okay, so I'm looking here for myself. Now, one of the things that I thought was really interesting that would help me for my paper, because I think it speaks to his external journey, is that, where did I have? So in 1987, he successfully separated Siamese twins joined at the head. So I'm going to copy that. I'm going to go back. I'm going to put quotation marks around it, because remember guys, anytime I directly quote something, I need to put quotation marks around it. So 1987, and I'm going to put brackets here so that I know I need the word he in order for this to be a complete sentence. Anytime you want to add something to a quotation that's not already there so that it's clearer to your readers, you're going to put whatever that is in brackets, just like I have the word he here in brackets. Okay, now how do I plan to use this note? Just so you know, and maybe I'll make this note to myself up here. Internal journey equals characteristics values, and I might find some other things that I want to add to it. But right now I'm going to put characteristics and values. So his character traits. External journey. Adversity faced, so maybe his background, his childhood. Adversity and accomplishments. Okay. Now these accomplishments, things that he contributed to the medical community, that sort of thing. Okay, so for this one, obviously I'm going to think of this as external journey. And this is an accomplishment for the medical community. And especially impressive that he separated Siamese twins at a very critical part of the body. It's not like they were connected at the hip, they were connected at the head where your brain is. It's a really important organ, and I think that's something to make sure I make note of whenever I talk about this accomplishment that's part of his external journey. So it's especially impressive that he separated Siamese twin at a very critical part of the body. Okay, so that would be my first note. So I'm going to make a little note here, just so that I can kind of see how everything's being used, and then I'm going to have B as my next note. So I'm going to also use this information down here. Dr. Carson tackles the toughest cases from congenital dwarfism to inoperable tumors, from intractable epilepsy to unremitting facial pain. So I'm going to take that quotation because I think that this actually speaks to his internal journey, because it says a lot about his character. He's willing to take on challenges that nobody else is going to take on as easily. Okay, so internal journey, it shows that he is willing to take on challenges that others might not be so willing to face. And then remember, I have to put it in quotation marks because this is a direct quotation. Okay, so it makes sense that my A note goes with my A, how I plan to use the note. My B note goes with my B note, how I plan to use that. Okay, so this is just 2 notes. I should have more than this for my first article, but I just want to show you the one. For source number 2, this one does not have the citation information, so I'm going to copy and paste the link at the top. I'm going to go to EasyBid. I'm going to copy and paste that because this is a website. This is not a book, newspaper, journal, or database. I'm going to click Cite It. It wants me to check the information that it gave to me. It wants me to check all of this. And this is all correct, all this information. So I'm going to continue to let it actually make the citation for me. It allows me to add more information if it might be missing, but everything's there. And I don't want to actually display the URL, so I'm going to leave the URL out. And then I'm going to create the citation. Once it gives me the citation, I'm going to copy and paste that citation. Gives me a copy and paste option, but I'm just going to copy and paste it like this. Copy and paste option, and then I'm going to paste it right there underneath of it. So then I might have an A note here about, I might have an A note here that talks about his character. I liked this one paragraph that said, Carson delivered an opening shot against political correctness. I like that information about him because I think it shows who he is as a person, part of his character, that he's not afraid to speak out. Maybe we could use the vocab word brazen. Now, if you notice what I just did, political correctness was in double quotations, but because the whole thing is a quotation, anything that's inside a quotation that was in regular quotation marks becomes one quotation. See that? One quotation. Because it shows that it's a quotation in a quotation. Okay, so then my A note over here is going to be internal journey speaks to his character that he is brazen. We're going to use that vocab word, so we're practicing our vocab word. Even politically. And he is in the medical field. Boom. Now again, you're going to have more notes for each one of your sources. I just wanted to show you an example of what it might look like. So this is as simple as it is for taking notes online. I really like this method. I think it's pretty great because then whenever I go to type my essay, I already have everything typed up for myself as it is. So I can just transfer this information directly into my outline and then also into my rough draft. So hopefully this was helpful to you, and enjoy.